Protecting those gorgeous wheels now by ceramic coating them and making them easier to keep clean is an absolute must. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to prep and apply a wheel-specific ceramic coating on the wheels of my Porsche 718 Spyder, all without removing them from the car. Since most of what you see of your wheels is just the faces, you don't actually have to remove them from your car. And by the way, if the only way you could ceramic coat your wheels was by actually taking them off the car, there's no way I'd bother. This way I'm going to show you is much simpler and way faster. Now, I've been DIY detailing my cars for over 50 years, and I'm going to show you my tips and tricks throughout this whole process. Now, you already know the benefits of ceramic coating for your car's paint, that it's a super hard wax-like surface that protects it from minor scratches and makes it much easier to keep clean. Now, because your wheels live in a much harsher and hotter climate than your car's paint, we need to use a wheel-specific ceramic coating like this Gyeon RIM. I'll go through the details of exactly what you'll need in just a second. Now, you need to make sure you don't fall for a lot of the marketing hype that some unscrupulous dealers have been putting out there. With ceramic coating, it won't keep the wheels from getting chipped, it won't prevent deep scratches, and it definitely won't last forever. But if applied correctly, like I'm going to show you here in today's video, and with the right maintenance, which I'll go over a little bit later in this video, it'll definitely last a couple of years, that's for sure. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video, but I'll include links to the products I use in the description down below. Now, the most important part about ceramic coating your wheels is the prep work. You have to make sure that your wheels are perfectly 100% clean, because any dirt that's on there, the ceramic coating is going to stick to the dirt and it won't stick to the wheel itself. And keep in mind too that you can't work in direct sunlight, and all surfaces must be cool to the touch, whether you're working on the cleaners or applying the ceramic coating. We'll be washing the car and prepping those wheels outside. Next, you want to rinse off the whole car, including the wheels. But the wheels, you want to apply good heavy flow onto those wheels to make sure you're washing off all of the dirt and any mud. Now, you'll need to do a really deep cleaning of those wheels. And to do that, you'll need to use Gyeon Iron Wheel Cleaner. So we want to shake it really well first and then spray it onto the wheel. Now, keep in mind at this point, we're only doing one wheel at a time till we finish one wheel. And then we spray it on all over the wheel and all over the caliper, the disc. Now, these wheels are pretty clean already. So we let that sit for about 4 minutes. Get a bucket with warm water and add to it your favorite car washing soap. So I'm using Adam's Ultra Foam Shampoo. So as you can see this purple here, so that's the iron that it's cleaned up. Now, if these wheels were really bad and had a lot of brake dust on them, it'd be totally purple, but they're pretty clean. So you want to do a really good job with the Speedmaster brush, getting in and around all the barrels. Now, we're not going to be ceramic coating the barrels, we're just be ceramic coating the faces of the wheels. And then we got this Redline finish Mitt. So again, so now we can really get to all the spokes, get into the nooks and the crannies. And that's why the separate thumb works so well. And again, we're dipping it into that bucket with the soapy water. So you want to make sure you go around every spoke, get both sides, and of course the front face, all the way around the rim. And then I use this Coarse detailing brush, dip that in, and I use that for around the lug nuts. And you can also use it for any little nooks and crannies that you may not have gotten to with the wheel mitt or with the Speedmaster wheel brush. All right, then we rinse them off. One down, 2 to go. And you can see on this wheel that there's quite a bit more of the purple, because I guess there's more brake dust on this wheel. Next, check the wheels to make sure that there's no roughness on the surfaces that we're going to be ceramic coating. Now, I don't have any on mine here, but if you have some on yours, then you would use a clay bar to get rid of that, and you'd use this McKee's N914 rinseless wash. You dilute that, of course, and you'd use that to lubricate the clay bar. And then you just wipe over it. I've got a video that talks a lot about clay bar. I'll put a link in the description down below. Next up, we're going to be washing the whole car. I'm not going to go into details on that. If you want to check out my car washing video, again, I'll put a link in the description down below. And dry, first with a squeegee, next with a blower, and we top it all off with a microfiber towel. Now, to finish drying the wheels totally, what we need to do next is drive the car around the neighborhood using the brakes as much as possible to get heat in those brakes, so it also heats up the wheels and it dries it totally 100%, including that brake disc to keep that brake disc from rusting. I'm removing the car back inside the workshop for the rest of the process because I want to protect my work until it's fully cured. Now, be sure that you're wearing gloves when using any of these chemicals. I highly suggest great lighting at the wheels while you're working on them, a knee pad like one of these, and some cardboard put down in front of the wheels to keep the whole area, the whole work area, perfectly clean. So the last step before we're actually applying the coating to the wheels is you need to use this Gyeon Prep to clean the surface of the wheel. And what we're doing here is we're removing any of the grease or any of the oils or fingerprints or anything like that off the wheel. So I just spray it onto a waffle weave microfiber towel and start working your way around the wheel. Now be especially careful to get into all the nooks and crannies in the little corners like up in here and in the V, because those are the areas that tend to get missed. And of course the outside of the rim. And be especially careful around the valve stem. A lot of nooks and crannies around there. And then we try to get in and around where the lug nuts go. Now, obviously we can't get too far in there because the lug nuts, or I guess in this case the lug bolts, are in there, but we can at least get the lip. All right, and then once we've gone over the whole wheel, then we use a microfiber towel like this one here from Chemical Guys that has a little bit thicker nap to it to make sure we wipe all of that prep off the wheel. And of course, as you can see, I am wearing my gloves. Protect my hands. And I'm making sure that I've opened a couple windows in the workshop here to circulate the air, because this stuff does have a wicked smell to it. So the ceramic coating we're using is Gyeon RIM. Now this is specifically made for coating wheels, and wheels live in a lot higher temperature than the rest of the car does, so that's why it's good to have a product that's specifically made for ceramic coating wheels. So we need to give it a good shake before we start. And inside you'll see that it comes with this suede applicator and this other applicator with a bit of foam on it. Now for doing flat surfaces, you can put the suede applicator on top and use it that way. Now with my wheels here, you can see there's very few flat surfaces other than the spokes themselves. So I'm just going to be using it this way. So to start off, we're going to put about 3 rows of dots of the ceramic coating on here. And I'm going to do half a wheel at a time. Starting here and then working our way around. So the idea is that you want to put a thin coat everywhere. So I'm actually going to do 1/2 of the wheel at a time of applying the coating, and then we're going to level it before we go on to the other half of the wheel. But I'm actually going to do it in 3 stages. So I'm going to do 1/2 of the wheel, the other half of the wheel, and then I'm going to do the central area because that takes longer with the lug nut cavities. So you need to remember kind of where you left off as you're doing this, because it's really actually difficult to see the coating on the wheel itself. And of course, make sure you get the tops of the spokes. And by the way, if you like what you saw here today, click the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified about my new videos as they become available. So the next stage is actually leveling out the product. And what you're going to be doing is wiping over it with a microfiber, waffle weave microfiber towel like this. But the time between the application and the leveling depends on the ambient temperature inside wherever you're doing the application. So we're at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I found that it takes about a minute after the application is completed before I can start leveling it. And then you just start wiping it down. You don't apply a lot of pressure because you don't want to wipe it all off. You just want to even it out. And you can tell if you've left it too long, it'll be very grabby. It'll be difficult to push the ceramic cloth over the to push the microfiber cloth over the ceramic coating. And if it slides too readily, if it slides very easily, that tells us that we haven't left it long enough. We go over it again. Now this is with a thicker towel, and again, it's one of these chemical guys cloths and microfiber cloths, and I find these are really good. So again, we just go over the same areas. And then we go to the other half of the wheel. And as this suede applicator starts to get a little more saturated, you'll find that you need to put less product actually on it because it doesn't absorb as much of it anymore. And after the minute, we can wipe it down with a waffle weave towel. So we're going to actually be applying 2 coats today, because the advantage of applying 2 coats is, first of all, the end product will be thicker, so it'll last longer. But more importantly, you'll actually, if there's any small areas that you might have missed, and so now would be the time that you could be able to get those areas. And of course, the prep time is what takes the majority of the time to do this whole job. So of course, the prep time between the first coat and the second coat is, or the amount of prep required, I should say, between the first coat and the second coat is nothing. All right, so then the last stage of ceramic coating these wheels is going to do the center part here. And so I'm going to get the ends of all the spokes, but I'm also going to get as much as I can inside those lug recesses from the wheel. And then we level it. Again, it's been about a minute. Now, by the way, these microfiber towels that we're using, once we finish this, we just have to throw them in the garbage. There's no way you can reuse them for anything else, and there's no way that you can clean them well enough. All right, so it's going to sit for 2 to 4 hours before we go on with the second coat, but we've got 3 other wheels to do, and let's get going on those. All right, so it's been a couple hours, and we're going to apply a second coat. And as I mentioned, you really don't have to do any prep at this point. You just have to let it cure for a couple hours and go from there. And I find putting on the second coat is actually goes much quicker than putting on the first coat. And again, at my 60 degrees Fahrenheit that I'm working at here, I could actually put on the whole second coat without having to start to level. So probably about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes in this case. And then we'll start leveling where we applied the coating first. And then go on and finish up the other 3 wheels. And just so you've got some frame of reference, I used about half a bottle of this 300 milliliters of Gyeon RIM to do 2 coats on the faces of 4 wheels on my Porsche. All right, so now you're going to want to let it dry at least 24 hours before submitting the car to any rain or any water. And whatever you do, don't wash your car for at least a month. Also, it's a great idea not to handle or touch the wheels in any way for, again, at least that first 24 hours to make sure it's 100% cured. Next, click here for my video on a quick and easy way on how to prolong that ceramic coating, make it last a long time, and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments? Add them down below.